IT Expo Miami 2009.
Hi, welcome. I'm Eric Lanass, coming to you from the IT Expo show floor. I'm here now with Digium CEO Danny Windham and CTO Mark Spencer. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you, Eric.
So, hopefully people can see the large Digium sign hanging behind us, but one of the neat things at the show this year that's a little bit new for us is the very large Digium Asterisk World Pavilion. There's a lot of exhibitors in there. What are some of the common themes that we can find in that area?
The organizations that are part of Digium Asterisk World are generally members of the Asterisk ecosystem. So they either build something that complements Asterisk, or they build a product that's based upon Asterisk. And so bringing all of them into one pavilion increases the interest in that area of the show floor, and we get a lot of people in. It's a win for Digium and win for the third-party vendors as well.
Well, if you think of Asterisk as a technology, it's extremely broad in what it addresses. So in addition to being a PBX, like a lot of people think about, it's also a platform that people can be used for conferencing, for call recording, and all sorts of things. The Asterisk ecosystem reflects that broadness because typically a company is really only going to be able to focus on a certain subset of that market, but as an ecosystem there are all these companies that Asterisk has enabled to be able to go after all these different vertical markets, and so that's what you're seeing there.
What's the Asterisk user base up to?
I think we wish we knew. Some of the very interesting elements of it being open source is there are people all over the world using Asterisk, and if they don't need support from us, we may or may not know about their implementation. There's some really interesting market survey data that has just been published by the Eastern Management Group that suggests in 2008, if you measure by the number of endpoints that were added to IPPBXs, that open source is the #1 market shareholder in the market, with almost 3 million endpoints added in 2008. And with Asterisk market share of the open source IPPBX market at 88%, there were Asterisk as a supplier would be the #2 position holder in the marketplace, only behind Nortel.
Fantastic. And I can tell you from people that I've talked to here at the show, I think I'm hearing people doing work with Asterisk or people who work with Asterisk more than I've ever heard at our shows before. I got to believe the economy is helping drive that as well.
Of course, it's obviously a difficult time in the economy, and as people start to look for solutions that are going to be less expensive, obviously Asterisk and Digium specifically are a great place to be looking. Companies that might not have looked at Asterisk before because they were used to Cisco and Avaya and so on are now starting to look and realize that in something like Switchbox they can get all these features and much more for a significantly lower cost, and rather than having to defer a system, continue to defer trying to buy a system to replace something where they really have a strong need, they're able to go in and get something that's just a lot less expensive and that can, in many cases, immediately cash flow for the company.
And in general, the fact that they haven't tested this technology in the past, once they do, they normally like it. And then there's a point of no return, and Asterisk finds its way into a company and then continues to expand and grow into more and more applications and more users, and that's the normal way it's adopted.
You mentioned Switchbox, Mark. Now, you guys just released, I think, version 4.0 of that yesterday, right?
Correct.
That's right.
What's new and exciting in 4.0?
All sorts of things. Switchbox 4.0 really focuses on unified communications. So for the first time, Switchbox now supports integration of fax and chat and video calls, voicemails and emails, all into one composite system. And on your desktop occupies a real estate that gives you insight into what all your coworkers are doing and is a real productivity tool. There are some things in Switchbox that allow an expansion of the market into which Switchbox can serve. Some new international capabilities, some basic rate ISDN support that wasn't there in the past. One of the new features is the ability to have presence information across multiple Switchbox servers. So we've laid the foundation that will allow Switchbox to sell into bigger, more complicated end-user applications.
You mentioned the addition of video in 4.0. What's the video market like in terms of IP communications right now?
Well, I'd say video does not have the same level of compatibility yet that audio does. You know, it took a long time when SIP first came out for people's phones to be able to talk to each other. And video is still fairly early on in that process. But I think that there's a lot of mutual interest both on the Digium side and on the side of the vendors that make video phones, because most people don't buy SIP phones just to use as a phone. They're using it in conjunction with the rest of a business phone system. Similarly, when you start adding video functionality into Asterisk with video-enabled voicemail and so on, now you're adding features that actually take advantage of the video in a way that's better than just having a call. And as video becomes more widely available, then I think you're going to see other even more interesting applications as it starts to come to end users.
One last question for you before we wrap up. Danny, can you connect to Mark? Looks like he's transmitting Wi-Fi.
Mark is always transmitting. There's no question about that. And yeah, Mark's pretty easy to communicate with as long as you know the secret password.
Fantastic. Well, gentlemen, certainly looks like Digium Asterisk World has a lot to offer. Some exciting stuff going on there. Best of luck at the show, and look forward to catching up again.
Well, thank you
very much.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mark.